Old dog boxing, motherfucker.
An article posted on the Ring magazine, The Bible of Boxing, reads, and I quote, WBC ordered Dimitri Bivol to defend title against David Benavidez. Parties have until April 8th to negotiate, end quote. So Mauricio Sulaiman orders Dimitri Bivol to defend his title against David Benavidez, huh? This is great news, right? This is great news, huh? Where are all my David Benavidez fans at, man? Where are my Mexican Monster fans at, man? Why aren't y'all celebrating this move for the Monster? So far, all I've been hearing is a lot of bitching and moaning about how fast Mauricio Sulaiman was quick to make Benavidez the Mando at 175 for Bivol, but he never made Benavidez the mandatory for Canelo's WBC at 168 for Canelo super middleweight title. All I keep hearing is, it's not fair. It's not fair. Why did Mauricio Sulaiman make Canelo fight David? And all this stuff, right? And to all of you man fans and fanboys that are crying that it's not fair that Mauricio Sulaiman is a corrupt, money-hungry, fat fuck wearing a suit, to you guys, I would say, if you want fairness, you guys came to the wrong sport. Welcome to boxing, the most corrupt sport in the history of sports. You want fairness, man? Go watch UFC or bare knuckle or something that's not as tainted. Because if you want fairness, this is not for you. You see me? I'm already very tainted. I'm already a brainwashed boxing fan. I already know how corrupt and fucked up the sport of boxing is. But before you guys go getting your panties all in a bunch, just remember, David Benavidez is a grown-ass man. If David Benavidez was paying sanctioning fees to the WBC to one day get a shot at the World Championship at the 168, the super middleweight division, and Mauricio Sulaiman and the WBC weren't doing their jobs, remember, David Benavidez could have told Mauricio Sulaiman, look, you either do your job or I'm going to sue your fat, greedy fucking ass, motherfucker. Of course, Mauricio Sulaiman can't force Canelo to fight David, but he could have had Canelo stripped of his world title. Imagine how that would have looked. And I'm a Canelo fan, but let me tell you, if Mauricio Sulaiman has stripped Canelo and made David the world champion at 168 because Canelo refused to fight David, I would be singing a whole different tune right now. I'd have no choice but to call Canelo a pussy. But guess what? David never did any of that. So now we're here. Maybe David didn't get a title shot at the super middleweight division. But guess what? He's getting one now at the light heavyweight division. Isn't that what's important? Forget about the past. Forget about Canelo. You're up next, David. I know why you guys are not celebrating this move by the WBC. I know why. You guys keep bringing up Canelo instead of talking about Bivol. I know exactly why. It's because you David Benavidez fans deep down in your hearts don't want David Benavidez's big ass to get in the ring with Dimitri Bivol and get schooled and lose. And you know as well as I do that once Bivol beats Benavidez, the whole charade, the whole smoke and mirrors about Canelo being scared to fight David Benavidez will end. Make no mistake about it, Canelo wasn't the only one that avoided the smoke with David. I know damn well that David Benavidez has turned down the smoke from Canelo as well. When the WBC made David Benavidez the Mando for Canelo, why did he decide to move up to 175? You don't believe me? I have receipts to prove that David Benavidez never really wanted that Canelo fight. He just wanted to cloud chase Canelo's name and keep tagging his name to Canelo to boost his career. Don't believe me? See it for yourself.
But that has not happened. Benavidez was the WBC 168 mandatory. The question was, why wasn't the mandatory enforced? You got to ask Team Benavidez and his promoter, Samson, why wasn't the mandatory 168 forced?
Well, they chose to go up and wait. They believe
No. That's another thing, brother. Ask the question. Call his promoter and ask him, why didn't they enforce the mandatory 168?
The answer I've always gotten is that Canelo does what he wants. You can't force Canelo to fight you.
No. But ask his team why, when he was 168, they didn't enforce the mandatory.
So for those who don't know who this dude in the TVV's real is, this is Gustavo Oliveri. He's the president of the World Boxing Organization, the WBO, belt sanctioning organization. And if you man fans and fanboys of David Benavidez refuse to even listen to what the president of the WBO is telling you guys, then it's pretty apparent that you guys are being ignorant and obtuse just because you want to willfully hate on Canelo Alvarez. And I get it. You know what I mean? I really do. You guys want to look the other way when these presidents of the sanctioning councils and the organizations are telling you, well, no, it's not just on Canelo. Okay? David Benavidez and his team has something to do with it also. They didn't make much of an effort to make this fight either. You guys refuse to acknowledge the proof and receipts just so you can continue to talk out the side of your neck. Just to continue the smear campaign, the hate campaign on Canelo. Just so you can continue to yell out, Canelo's ducking David! Canelo's ducking David! Canelo's ducking David! But I have good news for you Benavidez man fans and meat mushers. I don't think David Benavidez is fighting Dimitri Bivol next. Honestly, I don't think David is ever going to fight Bivol. Ever. And it's not because he's actually third in line. Because from my understanding, the number one mandatory for Dimitri Bivol is a German named Michael Eifert, who is Bivol's IBF mandatory, who, let's be realistic here, can be paid off, right? He could get paid some step aside money, because I'm pretty sure everybody could agree that nobody's checking for this guy, Michael Eifert. And second place is the WBO mandatory Callum Smith, who David, if he gets him out of the way ASAP, because it's still early in the year, he could get Callum Smith out of the way, right? Early, like the first quarter of this year, maybe even second, because Dimitri Bivol has already said that he's going to take some time off because he just had two brutal wars with a demon in Artur Beterbiev. So Bivol said that he's not coming back before September, October. He's taking some time off. That gives David Benavidez enough time to take Callum Smith's WBO interim belt so that David can become the first ever undisputed interim champion. Then by the time Bivol is ready to make his comeback, Bivol will have no choice but to take on David. Just because there's going to be a trilogy between Bivol and Beterbiev doesn't mean it has to be next. I'm pretty sure that we could all agree that the third fight can definitely be postponed if David really made that happen. But I'm telling you guys right now, David is not going to do any of that. And why do I say that? Well, it's because when Turki Al-Sheikh invited David Benavidez to Saudi Arabia to be ringside and get into the ring and call out the winner between Beterbiev and Bivol, David Benavidez dipped out the back and was nowhere to be found. Just like a bitch. And that's how I know he don't want that Bivol smoke. He's already told you guys what they're gonna do next. You guys already know his next move. And his next move is going up to cruiserweight to fight Zurdo Ramirez. Don't get mad at me, I'm just being honest. David Benavidez is going to have to show me. You know what's funny? I used to be a big David Benavidez supporter. Back in the day, when Porky Medina days and when he beat Anthony Durrell. But peeping how he's been moving here recently. And what do I mean by how he's been moving here recently? Well, let's see. Getting on a plane to travel all the way to Saudi Arabia for what is a 15-hour plane ride just to get there. And your whole purpose for this trip, let's be real, it was a business trip, was to do interviews and promote your brand, and then get into the ring to call out the winner of Bivol versus Beterbiev. But instead, you dip out the back during the Virgil Ortiz versus Madrimov fight. Nah, man, I can't go for that. No, I can't support nobody that's moving that sketchy and scary like that. I'm sorry. I'm not finna be making no excuses just to try to be in these fighters' good graces just for one day, just for hopes of one day getting an interview. And all this old groupie ass, punk ass shit. Fuck that. I'm a consumer. I want to see the best fight the best. I'm not into protecting these fighters like a lot of you man fans out here are, man. Nah, man. And that's another reason why I can't no longer support David Benavidez, man. Because of his meat loving, meat mushing, man fan loving ass fan base out there, man. Y'all stay in denial and y'all stay delusional for this dude. David Benavidez essentially just got a free trip to Saudi on Turkey's dime because he didn't even do what he went there to do. I could already imagine what Turkey was thinking when the main event ended. He was probably thinking, you know, where's David? Where's David Benavidez at, man? Fuck out of here, man. It's your boy Old Dog Boxing. I'm out, man.